Just like Jared said earlier, right? It's all about design principles and methodology. The maturity that we went in by providing what we call the PA Smart Apps Framework brought in consistency and adoption. I think they are, different sides of the same coin, which strike the balance in terms of, when we're going to build the next app and the next app after that, how do we go about it? Should we worry about what the apps looks like? How are we going to publish the app? How the environment's going to be managed, etc. All of that happens once as part of the framework, and then you continue to build apps which directly impact your costs, issue management, change management. It all gets bundled within the same part of the framework. So now what you're looking at is the Coaching Collective app. It's built with the Dataverse backend, and just like Jared said, it's completely integrated with the DevOps capabilities, so that when changes happen, the app automatically moves across these different environments without actually worrying about the change management aspects around it. It's completely personalized. What you're looking at is a Canvas app. The Canvas app basically has a dashboard screen where, just like Jared said earlier, you got those different intakes coming in. Intakes basically translate to the requests that the staff make for supporting their different employees within the organization. Now, those employees could have submitted a request either via a forms interface, where you just fill in, a couple of fields in here, select the reason for support. So let's say, an employee is working for domestic violence related cases, or let's say child safety related cases. A manager decides that, my staff who's on field right now needs some sort of support and coaching so that they can, either conduct their work better, or they're going through some challenges during their work. So they fill in this form. Alternatively, intakes can also be added directly from within the app itself. Now, the app basically has integrated role management and security built in. Now, again, something that the Canvas apps do not come out of the box, but part of the framework, it allows the incorporation of the security model within it. As soon as an intake is received, intakes are basically lined up for action and execution. An intake browser also gives you a preview of all the intakes that have been received. Now, when an intake is received for support, a case manager or a coaching specialist basically verifies the intake and accepts the intake. So I'm not going to go through every little bit of functionality here, but they accept the intake, and as soon as the intake has been accepted and a coach has been assigned, a case can then be initiated for the employer. Now, the case is a completely life cycle based capability that has been incorporated into the app, that allows moving from the first part of the assessment, which is assessment and risk management. That's where you start to get in and assess the actual case itself. So you're talking about capturing the data for the employee that is currently being assessed, then moving into the next stage. So as you see, I'm clicking through the different stages, and the different stages are getting activated, where you can go in and interact with the actual case itself. Now, once you go through the entire case, you will basically be completing the case. The system also allows uploading and attaching documents, which I think from a case management perspective becomes very important. Let's say, for example, the employee's profile, or there's some previous assessment work that was conducted. They all can be associated within the app itself. Now let's go and have a look at an actual case, a sample case which has some data populated within it. So as you can see over here, there's a case with a tick box on it saying that that's a valid case. I'm just going to click through this one, and as the case stages are completed, they basically switch to the green box, and it also has an integrated capability for providing case assessment measurements, where there's the graphing capability integrated within the app itself. So I'll just quickly do that. And as you can see now, which also gives a very important measure on how you're actually going about the case itself. You want to be able to get into a case with the employee having certain amount of challenges, certain amounts of data collected against it, and as you complete through the case, you then walk out of a positive assessment or an improved assessment as you go through the actual case itself. Now, once the case wraps up, all of the stages of the cases are completed, and you have a complete tracking in terms of where the case is, where it started, who assessed it, who was a part of the case itself. Now, there are lots of other features and capabilities integrated within, like, for example, if you assign an actual task to someone within the coaching app, it basically sends out a notification, and managers, the employee itself, or an administrator and several other roles can basically come in and participate and interact with the app itself. And as you go through your case management, you have the dashboard, which will keep giving you these number updates saying, the cases have been changed, there are more intakes pending action, or, let's say, for example, there are cases that have been closed during the last month. And there's an integrated reporting that also runs along with this one, but that's on Power BI, and probably, an example that could be looked through in future use cases.
Thanks, Kieran. That's terrific. I mean, I really do, and I know you do too, love to see these use cases that our clients are working with, but also just seeing the design here. And I know at the back end, the frameworks, it's what's happening that right through the user experience, the governance, the automation, reusable componentry. I'm sure you'll touch on that, which makes this sort of a next level experience. But I guess with that in mind a little bit, Jared, from your perspective, what did this engagement provide the business as an investment for the future? How does it help ATSICS beyond just this coaching collective app?
Yeah, it's huge. The app forms the basis of how all of our apps will be developed going forward. We'll be utilizing the same process, the same back end, the same governance and technology stack in the future, which is big for us. We've always wanted to move towards something that's scalable and strong governance, strong risk mitigation, strong security in a central place that we've got flexibility around building in the future, and that's what this gives us.
Yeah, terrific. And Kieran, you've played a big role here in the framework of the solution and helping empower ATSICS and Jared's team. Is there anything you'd add to Jared's comments about the framework or any benefits here?
Yeah, absolutely. I think going back to that point about having consistency, which actually benefits the change management and adoption. Imagine that you got different developers. Developers basically joining the organization. You got developers moving from other teams. You got business teams, having requirements come in, and analysts looking through that. You basically want to make sure that when you are embarking on that next journey, building apps as you go forward in the future, you are not thinking about the consistency. You're not thinking about, a set way of doing things, because you have that in place. And the most important focus goes back to the business requirement itself, to be able to meet the requirements. So you're not thinking dashboard screen, you're not thinking the browser screen, you're not thinking about the nitty-gritties of the application itself, because they all are an outcome of the framework, and you just literally have to just templatize your requirement and start using it rather than worrying about these aspects. So yeah, these are some very important points that I think even Jared emphasized earlier.